Hey guys, so I just wanted to compare the Moto G5 Plus with the Moto G4 Plus. The G5 Plus coming in a slightly smaller design, but feels really much better in terms of the premium. We're going to have a look how they compare here, because I think there are some regressions as well as some improvements on the G5 Plus that you need to be aware of. Obviously, the first thing is the screen size. It is quite small now, 5.2 versus 5.5. Another thing I've noticed is the actual contrast ratio, and the brightness of the screen doesn't seem to be as good as the Moto G4 for some reason. The animations are just as good when it comes to the boot up. So I can just demonstrate what I mean by the colours here. So let's just go to, let's say, this Play Store, and they're both on the max brightness, as you can see. Do we have the thing on? Let's just have a look there. We'll get rid of that. So you can see they're both on the max brightness now, and let's go to the Play Store. Straight away you can see, if I tilt it to the side here, the Moto G5 Plus doesn't retain its colours as well for some reason. So I think the screen is actually better here on the old boy, which is, not the best thing I like to see, but we get the job done nevertheless. I think you can see as well from the bottom how dark the contrast is on the Moto G4 Plus compared to the Moto G5 here, which is like grey at the bottom. But nevertheless, let's have a look how they do compare. We're going to just run through a quick speed test and then see whether you should upgrade or not to the G5 Plus. Let's just run some of these apps here. So we're running a Snapdragon 625 versus Snapdragon 617, and you can see already there is quite a huge difference in terms of the responsiveness of each handset, with the G5 Plus clearly dominating the older model on pretty much everything, which is nice. We do like to see a good improvement in terms of the speed. Again, you can see the dark background here, nice high contrasty versus very grey on the G5. The actual game does load fast though on the G5. Again, you can see we are getting some improvement in terms of the performance, which is good. And we have Fruit Ninja. So I'm just going to open up 3 games today because it did struggle when trying to open up 4. We're going to do some web browsing. So let's just go to the Google, and then let's go to Daily Mail. So let's just go to the home page, and then we can see, what's this doing? It's got a mind of its own. Right, so let's go to the bottom and see how they handle this. Straight away you can see the G5 seems to be a little bit better in terms of loading stuff, nice and fast, compared to the G4, which is really struggling. Let's try a link here, just try and find it. There we go. So slightly faster on the left to load that link, which is good. One more. And let's, you see I'm trying to go to the search page and it's taking me straight to the website. Let's try another one, Verge. We can do the G4 is still quite snappy here in terms of the Verge, but I think when it comes to actually loading the content, if I could click on the correct thing, it's much faster here on the G5 Plus ultimately, so that is a nice improvement. We're just going to round off with the multitasking. So I can't remember the RAM. I think it's 3 gigs in the Moto G4 Plus, but then again you could get one with 2 gigs as well, and 4 gigs as well. So there's lots of different configuration. This is 3 gig Moto G5, and you can see it struggles holding things in memory, even the most basic apps. But it does come up with them nice and fast, as you can see, which is good. You know, I'll give it consolation, but I still want the fluid multitasking. Really, that would be better. So you can see the G5. You can't keep the games in memory, but it leaves the G4 standing. I can't get over that display though. You know, there's a massive difference there in terms of the display. It's like they've cheaped out there. Maybe they realised that this display was really amazing for the price, and you know, it did cheap out. But nevertheless, I think it's a solid improvement. You know, in the areas that count. For example, the camera. I've been doing some shots with today, and I got to say I'm really impressed with it. You know, it's coming with the same sensor as the Galaxy S7 and S7 Edge apparently, so you're getting 1.7 aperture, which is a massive improvement over this one, which I think was 60 megapixel to I think 2 aperture, so not the brightest. I would like to have seen Type C as an improvement. You know, it would have been nice, but nevertheless it's not a huge deal. I think the back did come off on the Moto G4, which did reveal the stuff that you could get access to. You couldn't remove the battery, unfortunately, similar to this one as well, but you can on the Moto G5 normal apparently, so that's good if you worried about the battery degradation. So something to consider. I think they moved the headphone jack in a weird place on the G5 here. You can see it was in a better place on the G4 at the top. Don't know why they moved it down there, but nevertheless, overall it looks like a solid handset. You know, just be aware of the screen. It is a regression in my opinion. The fingerprint sensor is definitely pretty good though compared to the square one on the G4. And yeah, hope you enjoyed the comparison, found it helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.